Everyone's mind became tranquil, and thus, in all directions, the air, the rivers, and the mountains became pleasant. Verse 54-55. दिव्यावाद्यन्ततुर्यानि ते तु कुसुमवर्ष्यता मुनयास्तुष्टुवस्तुष्टा जगुर्गन्धर्वकिन्नरा नृत्यन्ति स्म स्त्रियो दिव्या आसीत् परममङ्गलम् देवब्रह्मादय सर्वे उपतष्टुरभिस्तवै. Translation. In the heavenly planets, bands began to play, and they showered flowers from the sky. The pacified sages chanted Vedic prayers. The denizens of heaven, known as the Gandharvas and Kinnaras, sang the beautiful dancers of the heavenly planets dance. And in this way, at the time of the appearance of Nar Narayan, all signs of good fortune were visible. Just at that time, great demigods like Brahma also offered their respectful prayers. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshakarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I humbly bow down and seek blessing from all the assembled Vaishnavas. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to purify myself, and please forgive me for any shortcomings. I have taken notes from a lecture by His Holiness Stoka Krishna Swami. So, here we are going through the verses describing the genealogical chart for the third daughter of Swayambhuva Manu named Prasuti. Prasuti was married to Daksha, son of Brahma, who was also a Prajapati. Prajapatis are meant for populating the universe with good progeny. Daksha begot 16 very beautiful daughters in his wife Prasuti, and these 16 daughters were married to different other great personalities. 13 daughters of Daksha were married to Dharma. One of them, who was named Murti, gave birth to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nar Narayan Rishi. Here in these verses, it is described how the entire universe was full of joy on the occasion of the appearance of Nar Narayan. Now, as the Supreme Lord is the reservoir of all happiness, so when He appears, the entire universe gets filled with auspiciousness. And this was very evident in so many ways when He appeared in His incarnation as Nar Narayan Rishi. Everyone's mind became peaceful, and therefore they could get real happiness. In Bhagavad Gita 2.66, it is mentioned, Ashantasya kuta sukham. Unless one is peaceful, how can one be happy? So if there has to be joy, the prerequisite is that the people have to be peaceful. The real happiness is different from the material pleasure. Ignorant people who are seeking pleasure through material means, generally they try to agitate their mind or senses and squeeze out some happiness. Such happiness is not the real happiness. It is an illusory representation of happiness. That's why it's called Chapala Sukha, momentary, flickering happiness. And such happiness is never satisfying to the soul. This basic understanding is given very clearly in Bhagavad Gita. Then another symptom of Supreme Lord's appearance was entire atmosphere was pleasing. The air be a gentle breeze at the right temperature, pleasing to senses. Rivers, mountains, etc. The whole nature became attractive. All such characteristics are only visible when there is the appearance of Supreme Personality of Godhead in this world. On the other hand, it is described that when a demon takes birth, there are so many disturbances. One cannot expect peace of mind without good progeny. Therefore, the scriptures are particularly directing how one should live in this world and conduct oneself as a householder. The idea is that householders should beget good children. There is a science behind it. It is very clear from the scriptures. Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatar sabha. Sex life, which is in accordance with religious principles, is a representation of Krishna. So, what is the result of such religiously principled sex life? That the progeny, which is produced out of such combination, is meant for everyone's welfare. Here, all auspicious symptoms of the appearance of Supreme Lord are seen on the earth. Then, further, there is description of the heavenly planets, where there are more intelligent personalities. For them, it's time for celebration. They are celebrating the appearance of Supreme Lord by playing bands, showering flowers, singing and dancing, and chanting Vedic mantras. Even though he appears as one of the beings of this world, they recognize the Supreme Lord very clearly. And so, they offered their prayers to the transcendental personality of Godhead. Recognizing the personality of Godhead who has appeared in this world is the difficult part. It is not possible for those who are lacking the spiritual transcendental knowledge. Whenever the Supreme Lord appears in his forms of incarnation, he comes for a certain purpose, which are meant for the ultimate welfare of the entire world. And that is very much welcomed by the divine nature persons. The demons don't like that and have inimical feelings for Lord Vishnu. Demoniac nature is incorrigible. It cannot be corrected. The only hope for them is either they are killed by the Supreme Lord, which is actually delivering them, or a pure devotee is able to purify them by their causeless mercy. Otherwise, the demoniac natures are simply progressing towards hell. They degrade themselves lower and lower to hellish planets by misusing all their abilities. In this regard, Krishna is impartial. The way this material world is created by the Supreme Lord is that the demoniac nature persons go down and down in hellish planets, and the divine nature persons elevate themselves till they come to the stage of complete perfection. So we should not be mistaken by considering the influence of the three gunas to be synonymous with the divine persons versus demoniac nature persons. In Bhagavad Gita, the 14th chapter describes the three gunas and 16th chapter describes the divine and demoniac qualities. For a devotee who is properly situated in devotional service, the suffering or the enjoyment is managed by the Supreme Lord personally, whereas the suffering or the enjoyment of a non-devotee is the result of that individual's past karma, strictly under the laws of material nature. And the material nature impartially gives the reactions based on their good or bad past actions. When Krishna gives some distress to a devotee, it is with a divine purpose, and it is ultimately meant for the good of the devotee. Krishna is the topmost well-wisher. If he gives some distress, it is for a higher purpose. It leads to some detachment, realization, for increasing surrender to Krishna or coming closer to Krishna. He gives token distress. Krishna never gives intolerable suffering. We must understand this and strive to properly execute devotional service. by firmly becoming established in our practices without being bewildered or confused. Once we begin devotional service and become qualified, there might not be material happiness always, but there will be transcendental bliss for sure. I'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo